Hello and welcome back to BI Publisher Basics and Beyond. In this chapter, we are going to look at some advanced concepts in for loops. Let's get started. So our objective is to get familiarized with for each group, for each current group. So our goal is we have in the previous lab, we have seen how for each works. So now our goal is to regroup the data elements so the data can be summarized or presented in a different format. So let's go ahead and continue with the navigation. So before we continue, there will be a zip file available right below this video for you to download. So that zip file will have all the sample files that you can download and play with. So I don't have the screen here. So let's look at the navigation, the XML template. So we have a parent root as catalog, a child root as a gartist and cd, and you have elements. There's an attribute called category type. There's an attribute. So this gives you an idea about the navigation of. Basically it gives you an idea of the XML data we are going to play with. So what is regrouping? So let's take an example. The first example that we did, it's a plain simple. We have an employee number, manager, division. So when we regroup the data, we are going to regroup it by, let's say we can regroup it by manager. So we'll have one group. So we'll have all the employees that are tied to the manager Ron will be displayed, and all the employees that are tied to the Leo will be displayed. So the same output in different formats. So where do we use it? It normally it's used. So we have a data template, and the data template is tied to multiple reports. So basically, we can use the same template, same data extraction, but then you have multiple templates. Especially with the Excel templates, you can have multiple tabs where in one sheet you have a summary, another sheet you have a detail. All those things are possible with regrouping. So one disadvantage of regrouping is it's using memory. So your system performance could be impacted, but I haven't seen it so far. So let's get a hands-on about this concept. So if you have downloaded this zip file, you would see a file with chapter 18-000. So you could go ahead and import the data, or I have downloaded. You have the results already available. Or you can create a new one, whichever you like. So let's go ahead and import the data. I'm going to go with the basic template. Let's go ahead and create a table. I'm going to select the advanced row set, select all data, finish. So it's going to create a table like this. Let's go ahead and preview the data. So we can see the data is coming out so we have the employee number. So let's regroup it so that the results are grouped by the department name. So let's see how we can do that. So to accomplish that, I use this keyword called for each group, then the root element, then the field by which I need to regroup, and I have an end for each group, the simple syntax. Then I have, so if I look at, so I change the for condition inside to say for each current group, and for each. Let's go ahead and run this. So you can see now the results are regrouped based on the department. So we have accounting, these are the people. There's no department for these people, and there's a department for research and sales, and the results are mapped differently. So I hope this gave you a flavor that flavor about the regroup. So as with other labs, I have created a hider region and I stored the regrouping here, and you can always play with this and get more exposure to it. Let's go back to our presentation. So we have seen the concept of regrouping. Basically, we are getting the same result in different formats. So the syntax for regrouping is for each group, group name, and the regroup field. And you can always regroup. You can regroup the group that we have redefined again. So you can have another group, but at this time we would say current group, and we can use the current group to access the data. So let's look at more. So in this example, we would say, let's say if you want to regroup by country, so you can say for each group would be CD, then country. Then you can get all the other details. We will go through a few examples to get yourself familiarized with this concept. So there are a few functions that are available to help you to get some additional details. There's some count of the root element would give you the how many CDs are available under that parent. Count of current groups, this would go along with the for each group. It will give you a count of how many current groups are available. Count of G artists will give you the count of how many G artist elements are available. Sum of price would give you the sum of total sum. Sum of current group slash price would give you the total of total price per group. Let's look at for each just to see one more time. So we have a for each for our, the first for each for artist, so we can see that the root. The second for each is for the CD, which is another root. So basically, we are displaying the artist and followed by the data elements. So let's go ahead and try out a few examples. And the first one we want to see is we want to we will we'll first see a sample data, then we will go ahead and regroup it based on the year. So we have the year, and we're going to regroup it by year. Let's go ahead and try this out. So if you open this, if you have downloaded the 002, you would see have a sample file like this with the hider regions. So let's go ahead and try it. So let's first create the basic template, which is 001. So here we are going to look at the data as is. So we're going to take the data as is that we have. So let's go ahead and load the data first and preview. You can use Excel or RTF, so it's easier for me to do PDF. So at this point, you can see it's grouped by the artist as in the XML file and the data. So let's go ahead and regroup it by year. So as I said, you have this. So let's do one thing before we regroup. Let's do a count, and let's do a count of the CD and sum of the price and see what the date what is the value. So you can see remember we didn't regroup, we are only doing the count. So we're going to get the count and we're going to get the total. So it's the sum. So let's go ahead and try out the regroup by year. So first we'll run this, and we will then look at the syntax. So let's go ahead and run this. So now at this point, you note that the results are regrouped by year. And if you notice the count and the sum, those have changed too. So now the results are regrouped by year. So let's go ahead and see the previous value. So the previous result was like this. So right now we have regrouped it by the year. Let's look at the syntax before we proceed. So let's go ahead and do the field browser. So the first one, I'm going to regroup. I'm going to regroup by CD and followed by year. Let's go back. I'm going to say I'm going to regroup by CD followed by year. Then for each current group, I'm going to sort it by price, and I'm going to get the variables that I need. All right. So let's close this. Let's go ahead and try regrouping by year, then by artist. So we are going to add two groups in this example. You just copy it right above here. So what we want to do is regroup by. So our regrouping is by year and by artist. So we want our results to look like a year, then artist, year, then artist. So let's go ahead and try this out. So we have um, so let's look at let's go ahead and run this first. So notice that it's the same same Excel sheet or same XML data, but we are presenting it differently. Let's look at the syntax. It's a similar syntax that we had looked before. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to regroup it by year. And for each current group, we are going to regroup it by artist. Then followed by the current group. So if you notice that we are using the dot slash, that indicates the parent of any parent. So we would go through. There's a whole chapter dedicated for these navigations, but if we can definitely catch up during that time. So at this point, this would give you, it'll give you here I'm getting the current group by some count by current group and sum by current group. So let's try another example. So we can regroup by year, country, and artist. So we have regrouping country, then followed by, so we have multiple regrouping at this point. So let's go ahead and regroup by country, year, artist. Let's go ahead and try this out. Let's put it above we can remove this and place this one. Go ahead and run it. So it's country, year, artist, and the results. So for the same country, for the same year, get artist. So I hope this gives you an idea. I mean, I don't want to go through all the other examples. You can definitely download these files and play with it to get a better idea. Let's go ahead to the, so I have another example, get different regrouping. So basically this chapter was primarily to regroup the data. So I hope this chapter was good enough to cover cover the syntaxes. Before we conclude, let's take a quick look at the syntax. So we have the syntax as for each group, followed by the group name, then the regroup field. Then for each group, followed by the current group, then a new field. Then you can have the current group, which shows the data. So this concludes this regrouping using the for each group. So definitely try out try out different combinations by yourself, get familiarized with the concept, and we will look forward to seeing you in another video. Thank you.